Welcome back to Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Show. I'm Cleve Loveland alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. We've been talking about the market, the MLS, what gets things sold, we're going to dive into why you should buy now. I've got a couple listings real quick I want to go into. Got some great ones. $779 for this house, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, Conway Gardens, right in Orlando, southern in Conway area, right by the Conway chain of lakes, over half an acre, 3/4 of an acre lot. Main house is a 3-bedroom plus a den, 2 bath. Outside, pool, cabana, and an office under AC. Tile roof, guest apartment, makes good rental income, or throw the mother-in-law out there. And then a 2-car garage on this enormous lot, Bruce, with no HOA for $779.
Beautiful.
And then that's 3,100 square feet.
I can help you out with a mortgage on that. You could put down 3% down on that.
And we want to talk about the best price, the shiniest penny the buyers want. Here's one, 1,300 square feet on half an acre, no homeowner association in Apopka with a pool. This is the best price pool home in Apopka.
Wow, I might have a buyer for that.
Best price single family with a pool, over half an acre lot, no HOA for $355,000. No work needed on that. 4-bedroom, 3-bath in Mount Dora for $510,000. This owner bought this house, 2,700 square feet, spent a bunch of money on it. 3rd acre lot. You're a bike ride from downtown Mount Dora, quick ride or a little long walk. You get a little sweat going there, but it's a beautiful house, 2,700 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths for $510,000. And then we go to the Palisades in Clermont, another 1/4 acre lot. Nice thing about this property, it's a golf community. 596,000. Excuse me, the golf course shut down. The homes have lots of green space behind them.
A dirt bike,
yeah,
of course.
So 2,700 square feet for $595,000. There's a pool, fresh paint inside. It's a split plan, double master bedrooms. The person before converted one of the bedrooms to a full master with a roll-in shower. So you got some handicap accessibility in there. Indoor, outdoor living, screen porch, covered area, beautiful 3-way split plan, fireplace for $595,000, side entry garage. And then we go to another one, best price pool home in Rosemont area, right here by the radio station. $330,000, 326,000. 1,700 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths with a pool. And out back, this backyard, Bruce, this owner loves his gardens. It looks like you walk out back into a park, like manicured by the Disney landscapers. Beautiful. The kitchen's open to the big bonus room. It's actually a 4-bedroom and got
How much is that one?
1-car garage for $330,000.
Wow. And that one, what's the location on that one again?
That's Rosemont.
Okay.
Right by Lake Orlando.
All right.
And then we've got Dr. Phillips. I've got South Bay for $990,000. And it is 3,100 square feet with a tile roof, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, travertine floors throughout, and a pool. Beautiful oversized lot with a circular driveway out front. Everything opens up out to the pool area, all the living areas, and the master view, the pool area for entertaining. Just a gorgeous house for $990,000. Got one down the street in Cypress Landing in Dr. Phillips, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. The owner just spent about $100K in upgrades on this one, Bruce. All new wood floors throughout. New kitchen, designer kitchen for about $70K, and 3,600 square feet. Downstairs is a master and a den. Upstairs, you got 3 bedrooms plus a bonus room. $925,000 for that. That is the best price in this zip code per square foot on a house like that. And move right in.
I want to see that one you have in Apopka. I may have a buyer for that.
Apopka, I got one right here. I'll get that to you. So anyway, we wanted to dive into. Call me if you want to take a look at those at 407-352-8118. And be happy to get you into that. Realtors, all of my listings pay a healthy co-broke. You don't have to worry about Jimmy and numbers around so you can get paid. Loveland Properties, we always do that.
All right. So we were talking about
why buy now?
Should you wait for interest rates to drop after the Fed cuts the Fed rate, or should you buy now?
Yep.
So obviously, the average person may say, God, if interest rates are going to drop, and that's going to save me money in my payment, I should probably wait.
Yep.
So what are we doing to educate our clients as to why that isn't the smart thing
Let's
to do?
Let's break it into 2 groups, homeowners and non-homeowners.
Okay.
Homeowners, depends on your plan. I think right now is a great time. And like I said, you might not like the price on your house. So we could either rent it out, make you a landlord, do a little leapfrog.
Yes.
Or when you go to sell, and selling's taking a little longer than average. I usually average 1 to 3 weeks. I'm 3 to 7 now. And when you go to sell, the shoe's on the other foot. And when you go to buy, then you're getting more concessions. And you
Yes.
got a little more, because I see, usually, Bruce, I see about 3 or 4 offers a week on all my listings. Throwing out the 30 junk ones I get,
outliers.
throwing out the junk. I'm getting half that right now. Just the buyer traffic is low.
So what does that tell you if you're a buyer?
Buy now. If you're a home seller, if you got to sell one or rent it out, buy now. It's not really going to make much
Buy
of a
now.
difference.
And the reason for that is sellers don't have as many people looking at their property. He's used to having 3 to 4 people a week. Now he may have 3 to 4 people in a month. Who knows?
Yeah, we're getting about 1 or 2 a week instead of 3 or 4
so
before
if
the
you're
offer
getting
comes
less
up.
people, that makes sellers more motivated. That helps buyers. Now, listen, I know Cleve. He's one of the top producing listing agents. Okay, so he is always out there to make sure you're getting the best price for your listing. I work with buyers, so I want to make sure my buyers get a great deal. But there's so little buyers out there that they have an opportunity to negotiate. But where if they wait for the rate to drop,
the price is going to, that's what's,
then you got more competition, and then sellers aren't going to pay
and
your
prices are
closing
still
costs.
rising despite the Sleepy Joe hangover. Prices have still been rising. They've been a little flat last month, but for the past 36 months, they were still going up despite inflation and 7.5%, 8% rates we had for a little while.
Yep.
So high 6s now. People think that's a drag, but I had some people that bought 2 years ago, and they're like, there's already people in our neighborhood selling for, 4 or 5% more. It's the prices are still rising just because of inflation. And it's just people saying, okay, now I'm going to sell, but there's ways around that rate. Get the buy down. Now, if you are a buyer, but you're a first time buyer, you don't own a home, buy now. Don't quit crying about the rates. You're giving away 100% interest on your rent.
Absolutely.
Rents. I never met a rich renter.
No such
And
thing as a rich renter.
you need to get into a house as fast as possible. Figure out where you're at. You sent us a buyer this week, qualified. He's going to need those closing costs. So we already got a list of homes.
Yep.
And when we present the offer, it's all in presentation. We tell the seller here. And if let's say the seller's priced right at 300,000, and we have to have costs, we're not going to ask them to pay all 6%. We might come in at 310.
Well, you don't
if
need
it'll
to
appraise.
all the time. We customize it based on the needs. But in our case, when we had our friend Chase that we just closed on, he didn't have any options. He said, either I get these deals or I can't buy. I don't have the money.
Yeah.
So we had to make the deal work that way.
Yep.
And you may be, as our listeners out there, have special needs that you need, and you need somebody that's going to pay attention. I had a realtor the other day. I gave the realtor a pre-approval letter for my client, and it said that they needed 3% toward closing costs. Do you think I put that on there because it makes me feel happy that I put it on there? I put it on there because the client had to have it. The realtor negotiates. I get a contract. She goes, "Oh, Bruce, I got good news. We're under contract." I looked at it and I went, "Where's the closing cost concessions?" She goes, "Oh, they didn't want to pay that, so we had to do it." And I said, "Oh, congratulations. Now, where's your buyer going to come up with enough money to buy the house?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I told you that they needed the closing costs to be paid. But the seller wasn't willing to do it. Then you don't have a deal."
Yep. And then and the buyer's got the power on most homes. You're not fighting multiple offers. The buyer's got the power to say, "Hey, that's all I can do. I'll talk to you in a week. Call me if you change your mind."
Well, and I think a lot of these agents, they just buckle. They're weak. They don't have good negotiating skills.
Yep.
And the seller said we weren't going to take any less than this. This is it. That's it. How many times have you heard that? And we go back
thousands upon thousands.
More.
Yeah. Thousands upon thousands. It's always worth asking. But the sellers right now, I mean, their choices, I had the seller being kind of tough on a buyer a couple months ago, and the offer was like 450. He was listed at 460. I'm like, that's a really good offer. He goes, and we were, and this literally was the only buyer to come through the house in 2 weeks. And he goes, "Well, I want to counter at 458. I go, "All right, you just bought your house back for 458,000. He's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "You just bought it back." I go, "This is what the buyer's qualified for. I've talked to the loan rep." I said, "If we want to try and squeeze something, let's go 452.
Right.
And the buyer did it. And that's my job on that side. But that agent, they were very close on what could be done. They said, "All right, let me call the lender. Let me see. We want to make this work." But the buyer could not go much higher than that. So,
all right. What's your phone number?
407-352-8118. If you look up and down your street, one of those rooftops on your street, I've probably helped sell it, buy it, or managed it as an investment property.
Yep. Or you can call the Lone Ranger, Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage, right here in your backyard. 35 years in the business. I'm still figuring it out. I got tip programs. I got the rates. I've got everything you need. Call me directly at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or go to WeBringYouHome.com. So all of you folks that are considering buying, don't wait for rates to drop. I will refinance you with no lender fees when it comes to time to refinance. But if you wait and you need closing cost concessions, or you're hoping to get repairs, don't wait for rates to drop, or it won't happen. You won't get it, because sellers won't need to. Then they'll have enough people that want to buy. They don't have to mess with your closing costs. So buy now, refi later.
All right. Because you got to watch. I mean, when you're a buyer, you make your offer. That's the one thing your agent needs to ask the listing agent. How much activity have you had? And if you hear dead silence, or, is this the only offer you've had? I talk to agents all the time.
You can look at, can't you look at the ML?
If I'm a listing agent, I can, but I don't. If you're showing your buyer through there, I mean, you can see that there's 10 business cards on the counter, but most realtors aren't professional and don't leave a business card like they should. That's real estate number one rule.
Leave the
realtors
cards.
when you show a property. First of all, pay $17 for the Century Key app. Don't be unprofessional. Burning up my time because you're not prepared. Learn how to show property. And then when you go through somebody's house, make sure it's locked up, and then leave a business card. That is like real estate 101. And you'd be surprised, Bruce, how many people don't do it or don't even show up for an appointment. So a lot of that going around, but they won't be in the business that long.
I think you should, when you're bringing somebody through somebody else's house, you got to remember you're in a stranger's house, and you have to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I personally think you should remove your shoes. I think you should be respectful. I think that you don't go touching things on the counter or looking at, don't mess with their pictures or any trinkets.
Yeah.
You shouldn't bring.
I've never had issues like that, but I do have them not showing up for appointments. And then the saddest part, though, Bruce, is when they actually do write an offer and they didn't check the sales. The buyer just goes, "Oh, that $500,000 house is gorgeous. I think that's the one. Let's offer 400." And nobody bothered to pull up the last 5 sales in the neighborhood, which were all 490 or 510. And present a reasonable offer. And that's just sad, because buyer, that's holding the market back. But you've got to watch activity when a buyer's, this is something your buyer's agent should find out for you. How much activity is it? What do you think of the pricing? That house is at 500. What'd you see at 475? Anything close? What'd you see at 525? Because what's funny is when I check out the market for my sellers, I don't worry too much about what's way above their price, but I guarantee you I could find a house just like my 4.3 for 500,000.
Sure.
I can find one. If I was at one yesterday, house I was at, probably going to be 450. Across the street, for some God unknown reason, house is listed for 725.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to avoid those problems, call me, call Bruce, 407-352-8118. We'll tell you what to expect, what kind of activity to expect, what to expect when you're a buyer, how many homes do you want to look at before you actually write an offer, what an offer entails, go through the offer, go through all the addendums so you understand what you're doing, what you're offering, what's your
Education.
risk. Yeah, and just educate them on what's going on. What's it actually going to cost me? Closing costs, you get them that number. I know what they're putting down. We talk about a deposit. We talk about costs that come out of pocket, things like that. That's a question I got for you. Got a buyer we were just talking about, and they paid some things out of pocket.
Yes.
And we had the seller paying most of the costs. I'm like, can we get reimbursed for that? Or
paying for what?
They paid for like the building inspection out of pocket, and the seller was paying 6%. I'm like, oh, can we get so
you can, as long as the concessions don't exceed the allowable.
Understood. Okay, so we just need to make the closing company aware.
A seller can pay everything for a buyer that has to do with closing costs. They can't pay their credit cards off, they can't pay their debts down, and they can't pay any money toward down payment.
All right.
Other than that, the Lone Rangers got the answers for you. 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118 or CleveLoveland.com. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show.